In today's video we'll discuss which are the 5 pillars of an AML compliance program. So let's jump right into today's video. As you probably know, criminals commonly launder money earned from their illegal operations to avoid being identified. According to a report from the UNODC, only less than 1% of illegal cash gets confiscated or blocked. For the mitigation of money laundering risks, anti-money laundering compliance programs have been implemented by financial institutions and other regulated firms operating in the financial services sector. The purpose of an AML compliance program is to detect and react to money laundering, terrorist financing, and fraud risks. Businesses must build their programs based on 5 AML compliance pillars. So let's start to see what are these 5 key pillars of an AML compliance program. The first pillar of an AML compliance program implies that firms must implement internal policies, procedures, and controls. The aim of those is to efficiently monitor suspicious behaviors and ensure any relevant data is shared appropriately to the relevant bodies like the FinCEN in the US, for example, or the NCA in the UK. To ensure the highest efficiency and effectiveness, controls must be aligned to the financial crime risks a firm is exposed to. Policies and procedures must be clearly written and easily accessible by staff. Also, they must outline the duties and responsibilities across all areas of the firms, including the board of directors, senior management, and other parts of the organization. The second pillar of an AML compliance program involves the appointment of a compliance AML officer to oversee the program. The chosen individual must be capable to oversee the program for the institution, and the AML officer is not necessarily restricted to this role, so he or she could have additional responsibilities depending on the size and complexity of the firm. However, the amount of time dedicated to administering and maintaining the program will be evaluated during assessments. It's worth noting that regulators have penalized in the past institutions for program flaws when the designated AML officer was found not to be with the necessary expertise to oversee such program, for example, or for having too many responsibilities to properly manage the program. So make sure your designated AML compliance officer is experienced and has sufficient time to efficiently and effectively overview the AML compliance program that you decide to put in place. Before we dive into the third pillar, if you are enjoying this video, press the thumb up, and if you are new to my channel, make sure you subscribe to FinCrime Agent so you won't miss any new videos going live on my channel. So thank you for your support, and let's now talk about employee trainings. The training element is very important. In fact, a dedicated pillar related to this is in place to ensure an AML compliance program is producing the expected outcome. To ensure that a standard level of knowledge is in place across the organization, AML policies and procedures should be known to every employee working for a financial institution, with certain employees having more responsibility for putting the anti-money laundering compliance program into effect. Often, the approach used by institutions is to provide both a broad level of training for all employees and more specific training for those with AML-related responsibilities. A solid training program, in fact, will not be a one-size-fits-all, but is rather tailored to the need of the individual. Any substantial modification to the AML program in place should involve a refresher training to educate affected workers about those program changes. And lastly, record keeping. This aspect with the training results and attendance is also very important, since it's going to be a key part of demonstrating compliance with this pillar under the AML compliance program. Independent audits are a useful way to test and audit aspects that cannot be done by the person directly responsible for compliance. Third parties or FI personnel from the third line of defense, so with no actual responsibility for developing or overseeing the program, may conduct those independent testings. To comprehend and assess the program, the auditors should have relevant skills and experience within the AML compliance space. And the goal of auditing the AML compliance program is to ensure that the program is running as expected and that internal controls are in place. This involves checking policies and procedures for conformity with the current requirements, for example, putting internal controls to test, and going through training program components and records. It is normally expected that an independent audit is mandated annually with higher frequency for high-risk institutions. The fifth and last pillar requires financial institutions to implement risk-based procedures for ongoing customer due diligence. This aspect includes properly understanding the nature and purpose of customer relationships in order to develop a customer risk profile. Based on the created profile, a financial institution is then able to run ongoing monitoring with the aim to identify and report suspicious transactions, as well as maintaining and updating customer information, including details of the company and its beneficial owners. So, having all those 5 pillars working efficiently together would create a strong AML compliance program for your firm. And with that, I'm now at the end of this video focused on the 5 pillars forming an AML compliance program. Please leave any feedback or comments you have about this video in the comment section down below, and also remember to check the description of this video to find useful links and references from my research. A special thank you today goes to Diane, who recently joined my community on patreon.com/fcagent, where you can receive copies of my presentations and support the development of my project. And lastly, thank you for watching. I hope you have enjoyed today's video, and until next time, see you soon.